For 52 years, I carried a small photograph in my wallet. The ink on the back had faded. Her name was still there, but the number no longer worked. So I tracked down someone who had known us both when we were young. And 3 months ago, I finally found her, Doris, but I had no idea what I was walking into. My name is Thomas Walker. I'm 73 years old.
And there are some things I've never had the courage to say out loud until now. I hope you won't judge me too harshly. You know how sometimes your head and your heart work in completely different directions. When I called Susan that day, I'm not sure I knew what I was expecting. Maybe I just needed to know she was okay. I wasn't trying to reopen anything. I wasn't chasing some old flame. I just wanted to hear her voice. I just wanted to know she was out there somewhere, living a life, breathing the same air. That was enough. After 52 years of silence, that's all I wanted. The first day I called, no one answered. The second day, someone picked up. Then, silence. I was so nervous I almost hung up right then. And then I said her name, that word I had held in my mouth for half a century. Susan. What came back wasn't what I expected. It was a man's voice. I was about to hang up when he said hello, twice. And then, I still don't understand how he knew, he asked, "Is this Thomas?" I froze. I stumbled over confirming my own name and asked how he possibly knew who I was. He said he was her husband. And then he told me that Susan had always mentioned her first love, that he'd noticed over the years that there was a small corner of her mind she kept to herself, and he'd always suspected it had something to do with me. He never pressed her on it. I was stunned, because I had convinced myself she had forgotten me entirely. And then he told me that Susan had passed away a year ago. We said goodbye. I hung up. I stood in my kitchen, phone still in my hand, and for a full minute I couldn't move. That day, the way I saw life shifted, because sometimes what you think you left behind in the past, it never actually left. It kept living inside you. What had been living inside me all that time was gone now. And what happened after that phone call, what it cost me, what I finally understood, that's what I need to tell you today. But first, I have to take you back, because you won't understand what losing her felt like if you don't understand who Susan was. It was the summer of 1974. I was 21 years old, renting a room in Cincinnati, working construction during the day and taking night classes in the evening. Most days I had $10 in my pocket if I was lucky. Susan worked at a restaurant 2 blocks from my job site. Dark hair and eyes that stopped you without warning. The first time I looked at her, I went still without even realizing it. The kind of eyes you don't mind getting lost in. We started talking. Then after our shifts, we started walking together, staying out until late, talking about everything and nothing at the same time. The way you can only talk when you're young and time still feels endless. I fell for her, and I don't mean that lightly. I mean the kind of feeling that makes you want to rearrange your entire life. Susan saw all of it. My ambition and the fear underneath it. My pride and the loneliness underneath that. And then I made my choice. Now listen carefully, because this is something men my age rarely talk about. We frame it differently. We say we were focused. We say we had responsibilities. We say the timing wasn't right. But here's what was actually happening. My father called me that October. He had a contact in Columbus, a small contracting firm looking to bring on a young, driven guy as assistant manager. A real salary, a real future. The beginning of everything I'd been planning for 3 years. I took the job. I told myself I'd handle things with Susan once I got settled. I told myself Columbus wasn't that far. I told myself a lot of things during those 2 weeks before I left. I never called to say goodbye. I told myself I'd reach out once I was established, once I had something real to offer, once I was somebody worth calling her back as. And you know what happened? By the time I felt like somebody, 3 years had gone by. And somewhere inside those 3 years, calling her had started to feel impossible. Not because I didn't want to, because I was afraid. I was afraid she had moved on. I was afraid she hadn't. I was afraid of what either answer would ask of me. So I kept the photograph. I kept the piece of paper with her number, and I kept moving forward. In 1978, I married a woman named Carol. She was a kind woman. She deserved better than a man who carried a faded photograph of someone else in his wallet. We had 2 sons together. I grew my contracting business from 3 employees to 47. I built a full life, a real one. I want to be clear about that. I'm not standing here telling you my life was empty. It wasn't. But there was always a room at the back of the house I never opened. And I know I'm not the only one. We all have a room like that. Something we locked away and told ourselves we'd deal with later. I lost Carol in 2019. My sons grew up and scattered to different states. Both good men. They called when they could. They visited when life allowed. But the house was still quiet most days. And I was alone in that house. In the quiet, that room at the back started getting louder. Too loud to sleep through anymore. I started thinking about Susan again. Not in a romantic way. Not with some foolish hope about what could have been. Just curiosity. The way you wonder about an old friend. Is she okay? Did she build the life she deserved? Is she happy somewhere? That's what I told myself anyway. It took me 3 weeks to track down a working number. A woman named Patrice, someone from Cincinnati who had known us both back then. She was hesitant to give it to me. I told her I just wanted to know Susan was doing well. Patrice went quiet for a moment, and then she gave me the number. I didn't think much about that hesitation at the time. I should have. After the phone call, I sat down at my kitchen table. 73 years old, trying to figure out what I was feeling. It wasn't exactly grief, or maybe it was a kind of grief I didn't have a name for. Grief for a person, yes, but also grief for a 21-year-old kid who stepped onto a bus headed for Columbus and told himself he'd call when he was ready. He was never ready. He just got old. And that, right there, is what I need you to hear. That's the part that matters. I didn't lose Susan because of bad luck. I didn't lose her because of bad timing or circumstances beyond my control. I lost her because I was afraid, because I dressed up cowardice in the language of ambition and called it a plan. And for 52 years, I carried that quiet lie in my wallet right next to her name. Right now, someone watching this is doing the same thing. Maybe not with a person, maybe with a phone call you've been putting off, a conversation you keep delaying, a relationship you've been meaning to repair once things settle down. Things don't settle down. They just run out of time. And time, I've learned, is the one thing you can't negotiate with. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. For me, everything shifted in that final moment of the phone call. Not when he told me she was gone, but in the conversation just before that. He told me she hadn't forgotten me. And sitting there with the phone in my hand, I understood for the first time what Susan had been trying to teach me back in 1974, when I got on that bus without a word. There's a room at the back of the house, and it stays locked.